Yes. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Inland Wetlands Commission. Today is Tuesday, September 6th, 2023. Wednesday, I'm sorry. I came off of and 6:31. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, liberty.
We'll now take attendance to determine quorum here. Marcia Puck here. Brian Moore. Absent. Wendy Fowler here. Here. I'll note that we do have a quorum. There are no alternates necessary. We'll go into our regular meeting agenda. I'm going to skip around a little bit just because I know we have a very big audience that I never see here. So thank you very much for coming. We do appreciate it. We like to have our public involved. I'm going to skip over the new business just so we can get some little stuff out of the way that we sure have to give some time. So there is no old business before. No. Okay. And item 6, correspondence. None. Okay, we'll go into 7, the WBO report. A, application IW 2109, 545 Church Street.
All right, I've been still trying to get in touch with him. I emailed him also and left him a voicemail, so I will continue. The next step will be
Okay. Get on. D, IW 2008 for commercial development 0 Prospect Street, applicant might be the Maui and
same thing. I left him, I emailed him today, but I also called and his phone didn't allow you to leave a voicemail. Wayne was in.
Oh.
Last week.
Okay.
Speak up. Said he was gonna try to get in touch with him also.
Thank you. Just I noticed that the bridge had not, the temporary bridge had not been repaired yet.
And that was in my email too.
And we had said that if it was not repaired, it's going to happen.
I did not say to the commission wants to see this repaired.
Repaired, if it's not repaired, it needs to be removed. That hazard. For it to fall into the. Right. Okay. C 1067 Main Street, monitor activities within 100 foot upland review area.
Nothing new. She hasn't.
D 393 Rubber Avenue, activities within 100 foot upland review area.
Last time I went out, they removed some of the cars from the brook, but I was going back out in the fall so he could continue to build up his berm. All the weeds have grown up there, so we can't do that. So last month, that's what I said. I'd be back in the fall.
Okay. Do that. Item E, application IWAA 2303 for additional located 707-709 Rubber Avenue. The applicant Dion Xavier.
His project is still ongoing. He's starting his new construction. I mean, not new construction. His addition in the back. The silt fence is still up nice, and he also had the hay bales in front.
Item F, application IWAA 2305 for a pool deck and shed located at 16 Copplestone Court. Applicant is South Carolina.
His project is almost complete. He still has to shingle the shed, so I'm going to call him on Monday to see if it's complete, and I'll go out there.
Okay. Item G, application IWAA 2306 for an 8x12 deck located within 100 foot up in the view area of the property located at 39 Hackett Street. Applicant is John Ritchie.
I left a message for him today. I don't believe he's done yet with his. He knew he had to call in, so I could find him.
Okay, very good. Item 8, administrative business. Yeah. We'll go into our new business, and we're going to start with item A. Commission discussion decision regarding an application IW 2307 for pedestrian walkway over the Fulham Mills Brook located at 0 Prospect Street and 47 Prospect Street, and the applicant is P&M Property Management.
Good evening.
So,
More microphone?
I don't think we have a microphone.
I don't need one. I'm loud.
Which one would you like up, Laura?
Let's do the site plan and then,
And do I gotta share the screen first?
I think we'll reduce it. And
And now I can share it.
I'll make this-
Okay, should be shared now.
Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Marty Warren, 120 East Waterbury Road, Naugatuck.
Can you repeat that?
Marty Warren, 120 East Waterbury Road, Naugatuck.
Marty's been before several times regarding the lots he bought on the side and across the brook next to the Victoria Inn. So he has created his parking lot. He's still working on the blocks. He has to put blocks along the brook there. And he's looking to put a pedestrian walkway. Years ago, you received it, and I have a picture on here. There was always a bridge there. He's looking to replace that bridge so they can access the parking lot to the restaurant.
Is the location of the new bridge in the same location of the previous bridge?
Very, very close.
Marty can tell you what type of bridge he's gonna be working on.
You don't have to.
The picture, or they have it in their application.
The only thing I have is the plans for the site plan, and then the second sheet, which really doesn't tell me too much.
What's the
2x6.
That's it. That's his, you can explain what it is. Okay,
Telephone pole, yeah. Can you explain?
Yeah, it's 4 telephone poles that are anchored into the ground, into the concrete.
4 or 3? This is
4.
3.
It's 4. It's gonna
Okay,
be 4.
you need to amend this.
It's supposed to be 4. You're gonna be anchored into concrete footings. And then on top of that is gonna be pressure treated 2x6 and guardrails along both sides, 6 feet tall.
he's talked to Bill and building, so once he gets his wetlands permit to do this, then he has to get his building permit, and he'll work with Bill regarding the bridge. I've spoke to Bill on the bridge, and he says this will be a good bridge. He's seen these type plenty of times.
What I don't see on the plans is how you're going to put in silt fencing, hay bale, something that's gonna.
Silt fence is already there.
It's not on your plan. No, I don't know. Is the legend here that tells me that? I know I can really read it too. So,
Yeah, the silt fence is there, already. It's been out there to
The
see.
built fence is on the side in the parking lot, that's a been there.
yeah, there should be a soil and erosion plan listed on the plans here so that we have that. And with the sequence of events here, that's typically needed, that we need to see. Yeah, Wayne. So I just reached back out to Wayne and had put that on there. He was for us to look at. As long as there's soil erosion controls and we have an updated amended instructions of what you put in here. It does have 3 telephone poles, but doesn't say anything about the concrete footing, it doesn't say anything about pressure treated going on top.
That's it. And then
It just poles for railings, I don't know what kind of railings you're putting up, so really it needs to be more detailed. So I know that's a real pain, I apologize, but you know, we gotta have it here, it's for our protection of the nation. Okay? Right. Yeah. I would like, if you can get pictures of the board, I know you said. you took them, but they didn't-
took them and I can't email to myself tonight, I got them today,
Okay.
and they're not going through.
Location and 0 wetland soils. So created. I know it's a very small parcel on there, I've seen it. It's really good. There's nothing here to tell me that. No, nothing here to tell me what any of that is, so, if we can get an updated plan, then I'm sorry, then we have to, I think, do this month.
Yeah,
That should be.
yeah, staff can speak to Mr. Zorley, the applicant, I think they could. Mr. Zorley is well aware of what would be required, I'm sure he can take care of that by the next meeting.
That next meeting,
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Very good. Well,
thank you.
Speak a little louder, please.
Thanks. The next item we're going to move to is the new business item B. Commission, excuse me, commission discussion regarding an application IW 23-08 for proposed development Long Meadow Apartments to be located over multiple parcels on Webb Road and Rubber Avenue, and the applicant is Apartments at Long Meadow LLC. Assuming that the applicant is here.
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jim Cormier. I am the applicant for 2308, the apartments at Long Meadow. I think it's apartments Long Meadow Brook. It's the former Salinardi Nursery property between Webb Road and Rubber Avenue. It's to be here to address you this evening to discuss our planned development for this particular property and explain how the components of this plan account for the unique ecosystem that currently exists on this property. It will continue to exist undisturbed, and most importantly, we want to explain how our plan substantially meets the borough's inland and wetland regulations.
You put the diagram up?
You will, when he gets to the point, when he's going to explain it. Our presentation will not waste time in dealing with specific details that will be addressed at other commissions as we go forward at a later date. But I will state for the benefit of every stakeholder in the borough of Naugatuck that the thrust of this plan is to assist the borough by demonstrating that we can adhere to the state of Connecticut's legal requirement that we comport with a minimum percentage of workforce housing. There continues to be a false narrative throughout Connecticut communities with respect to the meaning of workforce housing, or some refer affordable housing. Allow me to dismiss some of the popular myths right now. Workforce housing was not created for the affluent, nor is it geared towards the least empowered or the poorest part of the community. The optic for workforce housing really can be seen by everyone looking in the mirror effectively. It's designed for hardworking, dedicated professionals that have defined the borough and many communities throughout the state of Connecticut since its inception.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Who are these professionals? These are members of the police department. These are members of the fire department. These are people who work in hospital communities. These are retirees. These are people on fixed incomes. Sadly, up until now, private development generally passed over this group in exchange for profit. Connecticut law now accounts for that type of development greed that ignored these people in the past. This plan assures Connecticut that the borough will now legally comply with the mandates in Connecticut, and it will include these families and individuals that have long been taken for granted. Now, with regard to this application, we are confident that this preserves the natural wetlands and water courses endemic to this property. We believe it honors the sanctity of the adjoining properties as well. We understand the importance of best management practices pursuant to DEEP regulations. We certainly agree that any application must be subject to all private and public rights. We believe deeply in not having any impact on the environmental features of the property for one very good reason. The overall plan makes the wetlands and water courses the centerpiece of this proposed development, which you'll see when Darren presents it on the board above here. We're now going to highlight the features of this property development consistent with our application, so feel free to interrupt if you have any questions and ask any questions you may have.
Excuse me, one second. will feel free to interrupt.
Yeah, I know.
I understand you guys probably have questions, but.
I'm talking to the
for
commission.
Okay?
I know this is just a submission of the application, when there's no
I
public,
wanted to make sure that the public understood that.
I'm sorry for the miscommunication.
Nope, that's all right. Thank you.
I'm pleased to introduce the commission and the borough to one of the engineers on my tremendously talented team, Darren Overton from SLR International. He will summarize the scope of the development and highlight the details that they've diligently worked with to mitigate the wetlands disturbances and to address future wetland matters. Darren?
Thanks, Jim. Hello, everyone. My name's Darren Overton.
Can you turn it around a little bit this way?
You're more
Thank
than
you.
welcome if you can't see it from there. I know it's hard with the screen.
How
Get up
could you?
and- Get up and-
Thank you.
The commission is the one that needs to. Yeah, we're gonna leave them.
Yeah.
I know, it's hard to.
So we put it on the screen.
We are.
Yeah, and so they can turn them towards the public.
Yeah,
We can
Ed's
or
working
vice
on-
versa.
Yeah, I know it's difficult with this small room and we're running.
September 6th. And then which one is this?
Is this the direct wetland? Please quiet down, please quiet down.
You need to think about.
Oh, there. All right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Fran just wants to get rid of stuff.
Sharing is going on.
Okay, for the record, Darren Overton from SLR Consulting. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of Connecticut, work out of our office at 99 Realty Drive in Cheshire, Connecticut. So I'm here on behalf of the applicant, as the project manager and design engineer for the site plans that we've submitted and supporting information that we submitted as part of the application. So I'll just go over briefly, kind of a description of the property, that's subject of this application, what we've proposed, and most important to this commission is what wetland impacts we have associated with the proposed site. So the property is 34.6 acres, and it's a combination of 8 different parcels that are basically coming together to make one large development related to the apartments that are proposed as part of the project. The existing additions of the site, most of the site had been farmed in the past. The farming activities have stopped, so a lot of the vegetation is now becoming overgrown. It's starting to revegetate and reforest as areas do. Part of the wetlands that were flagged on the site were also part of hayfield and other farm activities. There were greenhouses, other existing buildings, all of which are not utilized currently on the property. There's a wetlands corridor that's delineated with Long Meadow Pond Brook. That's the dark line going through the center of the site. It enters the site kind of the lower left-hand corner of the plan. On this north is kind of up and a little bit to the left. So it comes in from the southwest side of the plan. It runs through the center of the site. The majority of the wetlands that were flagged by our wetland scientists are associated with that main wetland corridor with Long Meadow Pond Brook. There's also a couple of tributaries. You can see the gray lines going up in the northern direction there. There's a tributary that comes under the roadway, Red Road, up in the northwest corner. 48-inch cross culvert that has a larger tributary that comes under and runs into the site and joins the brook at that and flows southerly out through towards where's my parents here? Towards Rubber. There's a FEMA 100-year and 500-year floodplain that's mapped through the site that's shown on the plans. There's also a floodway that's associated with Long Meadow Pond Brook. That's important because that's another regulatory restriction that we need to evaluate as part of the design of roadway crossings. So the proposed development, and I'll apologize, apparently this one didn't come through in the email. That must have gotten held up because of the file size. But I'll put this up so that the public can see it. So this is a proposed development.
Is that, I just have one question, is that in any of these plans that we have here?
Yes,
What
So-
map number is that?
so basically, this is just a combination of design plans that just highlighted the presentation notes. All the information that's on here is in the plans. So we just put some color on it, the presentation.
So you're saying the front page right there is what they're looking at?
I can leave it with you.
That right there is what the front page.
Third sheet? I could, yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And
The layout. So there's 467 apartments that are proposed. There's 8 apartment buildings. There's also 2 townhouse buildings that are 4 units each. There's a clubhouse that's proposed for recreation and amenities as part of the development. There's a mix of different 2-bedroom and 1-bedroom units. Most of the units are 1 bedroom. The clubhouse will have a pool and some other amenities to support the residents, future residents of the property. We have an access road that is 2 intersections with proposed with Webb Road. So those enter the site. The roads meander through the site to provide access to all of the proposed buildings on the plan. And then they exit out to Rubber Avenue on the southern part of the site. The proposed units are going to be served by public water and sanitary sewer. There are sanitary sewer trunk lines that run through the site. It's fairly simple to connect all the units to those trunk mains that run through the site. But there's a necessity to connect to them through the wetlands to actually access it, because the majority of those trunk lines run through the existing wetland corridor. The water main, there's no water along the frontage. We're proposing to extend the water main to the site to serve all of the units as well. That water main originates from Stone Fence Road and will extend through the site and potentially connect up to Rubber Ave. All of the utilities that are going to serve this come off of the Rubber Ave. So what's important for the commission, I'll just go to the wetland impact plan if you want to bring that up.
Just give me a second here.
We went through several iterations of the plan. We can go through those in more detail another night. But for the purposes of tonight, what we put on the application, we laid this out to avoid impacts, wetland impacts to the extent possible. Unfortunately, there's some wetland impacts that are unavoidable. Those wetland impacts are associated with the roadway crossings. There are 3 of them. And also, with, as I mentioned earlier, the sanitary sewer connection. So there's no way to loop the road through here to serve units, connect Webb Road out to Rubber Avenue without crossing the wetlands. So there's some unavoidable impacts that are being proposed. The road crossings start out in the upper right corner. The first road crossing, there's a little finger of wetland that comes down off of Webb Road. I'm proposing a pipe crossing there because there's basically a very limited watershed. So we have a wetland impact. They're highlighted in green on the plan. The cross culvert under Webb Road, 3-inch cross culvert, that tributary that I mentioned. We have another box culvert proposed for that. So it's a 4-sided box, but there will be a natural channel bottom replaced in the bottom. That is a combination of direct wetland disturbance and also temporary disturbance, because we'll be recreating the stream bed once that's installed. And then lastly is the largest stream crossing, which is Long Meadow Pond Brook on the south end, where we have to span the floodway, because we're not allowed to, according to FEMA, to have any direct impact on the floodway itself. We have a 50-foot bridge proposed there to span the floodway. There is some impact on the floodplain and also on the wetlands with the abutments that are being proposed to support the bridge. And there's also, we've highlighted, we basically considered the whole road corridor an impact area, even though the area under the bridge is really just some temporary disturbance, and the channel itself we expect to remain intact. But there's also going to be what the Army Corps would consider, and this commission may consider, as also secondary disturbance. When we put the bridge there, it's going to create some shading of the wetlands that could change some of the vegetation at times. We think that's a secondary impacts. So on the application, we have a total of 6,300 square feet of wetland disturbance that's proposed. It's about 0.14 acres. And what's not on the application, for the commission's information, there's about 14.8 acres of wetlands that were delineated on the property. So our impact is very small in relation to the amount of wetlands on the property, and basically unavoidable to provide the safe access for the roadways and then connections to the sanitary sewer. There's a few connections that are highlighted, they're green lines on the plan. We're unfortunate to connect into the trunk line, sewer trunk line, we have to go through the wetlands to make that connection. Those we look at as temporary disturbances. There's going to be excavation, there's going to be a pipe installed, similar to when those trunk lines were built however many years ago. And then the surface will be restored and it'll be allowed to be vegetated. So we look at that as temporary disturbance. I'll just quickly say we prepared a stormwater management plan. There's a report that's been submitted summarizing the calculations. We analyzed the wide range of storm, up to 100-year storm. We have detention proposed in 5 different areas on the site. The calculations show we have no increase in peak rates of runoff that are proposed. We've done a typical analysis of what's required based on the borough's requirements and also NPDEP requirements for that stormwater management analysis. There's also an erosion sediment control plan that's included in there, again, meeting the deep standards as well as the borough standards. I'll go into the details of that, but I believe it meets all of those requirements. So at this point, I end my presentation. Commission has any questions, be happy to address them.
Thank you. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
I mean, there's a lot of information here, obviously. I mean, there's a lot for us to go through for this. Trying to determine from where are the wetlands, where the 100-foot review area, upland area is located.
So we do have a dash line that's 100 feet off of the wetland border. The wetlands is kind of a gray shaded line.
Which map is that?
Should be on pretty much all of them. So if you look on the grading utilities, you see it there. That's probably the best way to see how the grading relates to the upland border.
Do you know which page that was on?
Thank you.
Last one?
GU dash one. No, the
1
one.
and 2?
Yeah, all of it.
Okay. See here on the legend. If we need to like, it's just easier if we can have it outlined.
Here's the, this is a
Specific.
version of the
Yeah,
colors.
a different color. Bring it to-
Here's a copy of the colors. I just gave him a copy of the colored ones as well. No, I just.
We gave it to them.
I'll get you one.
I'm sorry. We've been given a lot of information. We just got in, our package last week and we're just having a presentation tonight. And I was, just want to say I'm really surprised to see a development of this size and density. So I need some more time to sit down and look at these plans. I don't really have any questions right now. We need to figure out where the upland review area is, how much disturbance is in that upland review area as well.
Is that been shown on your map? Have you demonstrated that?
Well, there's that dotted line, but.
Yeah, I know, but have you calculated the disturbance of the upland?
It's not listed on.
Okay, so that's something
That
that you
needs
would want.
So,
That's something we can summarize. Sure.
yeah, there's just a lot of information here that I think, I need time to digest it and go through these plans more. We need more time. And, like I said, I'm very surprised to see a project so dense in this area that, throughout the 20-something years that it's been vacant, there's just been numerous recommendations from different councils, different, groups we've hired at the borough to study this property, and nothing like this has ever been suggested happen up there. So it's a big project for us to look at as a commission. So, I just need some time. I don't want to do anything tonight other than accept the application.
Yeah, it's good.
I'd like those to get some feedback from the borough engineer after he's had time to look at these, and then maybe schedule a site walk. I feel like we need to know what we're looking for when we go out there. Me personally, I don't want to just go up now because I think I'll have to go up again. So I'd rather wait to get some feedback from the borough engineer as well.
Yeah, it's always helpful to have all the information in front of you so you know what we're looking at. And Jim, I know you haven't really had a chance to fully go through all these plans here, so we thank you for all the information, but the only thing we can do tonight is accept the application, as Marcia had said, and then, continue on. I mean, definitely no decision made tonight. Definitely need more information. We need to know where these wetlands are, what's going on with them. Are these parcels, are they already owned, or are they under contract?
I own them.
Own them, okay.
I've owned them, first six since 2012, and then I bought the other two in 2014.
They're fully owned by you, so there's
No.
Okay. Yeah, we definitely need some more details on this. Jim, do you have any questions?
No, I'll get together with them.
Okay.
Close look,
You'll know what we're missing.
Yep.
Yeah.
work with Lori, so we right, get everything required.
Lori and Ed, do you have any questions right now? No? Yes. So just to let everybody know, that's probably the first time a lot of people have been to one of our meetings. Like I said, we don't usually get this many, I think, towns here. So that we are going to continue this until next month so that we have time to digest all the information that's here, so that the borough engineer has time to digest it, as well as the officers do. So no decision will be made tonight. Okay. As far as public comment, I know that you guys are here to comment, and I understand that, and I can empathize with you. And some of it, I'm sure, has to do with the wetlands. I'm sure some of it has to do with non-wetlands issues like zoning, fire commission, and police commission. There's nothing we can do about that. I empathize with you, I really do, but that really needs to be brought up with those commissions. I don't want you to, I don't want to say waste your time with us, but, I would take all that information and bring it up to the appropriate commissions for that, because there's nothing that we can do as far as that. We're only here for the wetlands piece of it. So,
May we suggest a larger venue for the next meeting? Due to the
probably, I think that would be
due to the
good
public
because,
interest. There are a lot of people that want to hear what's
there's a
going
lot
on.
of people on here. I know not everybody has Zoom. It's hard to hear. It's hard to see. Standing,
Good.
Maybe the microphone.
And I also suggest something, for the next meeting, also to make sure we have, visuals for both the commission and any guests that we have, because I know people want to be able to see the plans, want to see what's going on, if that's possible.
They will be available on our site,
They
correct?
are online right now.
Right.
So I mean, just for when the applicant is speaking, pointing things out, just so that the public see what.
Excuse me,
That's
is this
exactly.
just, is that
Excuse me.
is that just for
Excuse
the
me.
elderly?
Excuse me.
No.
Excuse me. Thank you. I'm just letting you guys know, that this has not been opened up for public comment. So, and I know you have questions, and I know that you're
Well, we need
anxious
to
to
get to
say
speak
them.
our voice.
I know you're
When do we
anxious to
get
say
to
them.
say something?
No, not next meeting. We're not scheduling public hearing next meeting.
Saturday, moving.
This will be continued. This will be continued for the applicant to present additional information. This is missing information that we need, that the borough engineer has time to review it, that the commission has time to review that. So it's not over with, nothing's finalized at that time. If we have enough information before, we can determine at the time the next steps. Whether it be a site walk, whether it's determined to be a significant activity that requires,
The voice of the
public,
people,
excuse me,
the voice of the people.
excuse me. Thank you.
That's what we want to
I'm
know.
trying to
We
tell
don't need to
you.
walk around. I live there.
I'm sorry, but I'm trying to explain this to you, and I can't explain it if I can overstate it. So please. So with that said, this has not been opened up to public comment. That I ask that you refrain from that, write down your questions, you can submit them to Lori so that we can have them. That actually helps a lot. We can bring that up to the applicant and it can be addressed. And then you can bring that with you at the next meeting, additional information. So we're going to continue this until the next monthly meeting, which will be October, I want to say the 6th.
Hold on.
So I have
October
that-
4th. October 4th.
October 4th.
The only thing I have to figure out between then is where to.
It's where we'll have it, exactly. You know, we want to be able to accommodate everybody.
Here, I could try to see if we could do like an overflow room with our Zoom equipment and people could sit in there and here. I just have to see if it works that way.
Yeah.
Zoom doesn't work for many.
No, there's a
We would have
TV
a
in that
Zoom in
room.
that room so that you'd be able to
Yeah,
see.
Zoom doesn't work for many.
Well,
That is
Old
true.
school prefers face to face.
Understood.
Okay,
We'll
so
make arrangements. We'll see what's available and make arrangements.
it will be on the website
Yep.
as soon as I find out, or call the land use office and I could let you know. Or if somebody, if there's a person who's in charge of a group of you, so everybody doesn't call. But I will have that in the next, say, week or so.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can I say something, please?
You, 1 minute, you can, okay? Thank you. Commissioners, any questions right now that I got? Ed?
Well, no, I think they-
Tim? Lori? That's, okay, thank you. All right, so this,
So I have some notes regarding the breakdown of what would be taxed.
I didn't hear you.
Specifics that you want, if you could just relay those to Lori or any additional
Please.
information, please relay that to Lori and we're happy to provide it to this meeting.
perfect. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who you know so we can see them?
Everything is posted online. If anybody needs help getting online, you would go on the borough website. Right at the top, you see agendas and minutes. You hit that, you would go to inland wetlands. It's alphabetical, but it's going by the I instead of the W. Look down. After you hit wetlands, you would go to the year, or you would go to the applications, the year 2023, and then the address, Webb Road and Rubber Ave. Anybody can call the land use office. If you want the number now, I could give it to you, or you could look it up.
With these colored plans that you currently don't have.
They look
have to be
exactly
available?
like what we have here.
Okay, so these you didn't have before tonight. Would they be available online?
Whatever they give me, I will put online.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will open this up to public comment. However, let me preface this by saying it is not for anything that is on this agenda. So if it's regarding the new business or the WEO reports, correspondence, you're more than welcome to please feel free to come up. We're not going to address anything regarding this project, nor the pedestrian walkway, or Victoria Inn, or anything else. I understand your concern. I really, like, full commission. Okay, we get it. We know. As you know, Long Meadow Brook took a lot of time and effort when the high school was being revamped to make sure that that brook was cleaned up and stayed cleaned up. That is the mission of this commission, is to ensure that our wetlands and water courses stay safe and are not negatively impacted. And we will do everything within our power to ensure that. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to apologize. I was just wondering when we get asked some questions.
You will get to ask questions.
No, about, concerns,
Should there be
not wetlands,
No.
concerns.
a concerns? Like,
Well, like, is it gonna be just elderly?
oh, that, you can
Stuff
do that
like
with zoning, at the zoning
You
commission.
should call our office and we can explain what has been submitted
Yeah,
at this,
Well,
up to
I
this
understand.
point.
Is there a zoning meeting such as like the meeting we're having tonight? Will
They
it be
have
a
not
public-
submitted to zoning yet.
Okay. Will there be a public meeting?
It's the same way. They will submit their application, it will be accepted, and then they will schedule a public hearing.
Well, excuse me. I'm
it's a
getting side-
process,
I was
you know.
getting sidetracked.
Okay.
Just want to know who's gonna live there. That's my
Oh, okay.
simple question.
You can contact land use office and they have all the information for
I mean,
you.
I understand,
That I don't know.
you guys got a good handle on the wetlands, the rivers, but do you have a handle on who's gonna live there?
That, unfortunately not
How do I find
our
out?
commission.
I think in the beginning,
don't
he
matter.
mentioned workforce
Yeah.
housing, workforce housing.
Workforce housing,
I guess,
well,
I'm not really.
workforce housing. And as you know, there's a
Well,
lot of information about.
I'm just saying, because Collins Street used to restrict the elderly. Did you ever go through there?
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
Well, I'm
And
telling
and unfortunately, that's not under our purview as a commission. Personally, it could be, we may have different.
I'm sorry, sure, fails their permission.
If it fails as a commission, then it just not proceed unless they make amendments.
They could appeal.
What the hell they got us doing their damn thing?
Sir, just speak, yes, just speak here.
That doesn't. Go out in the hallway. Excuse me. Excuse me. Thank you. I had to get somebody's attention because there's a lot of conversation. We have people that want to speak and have questions. I can't hear them. If you have a side conversation, please take it out in the hallway. Be courteous. Thank you.
What kind of questions do you want us to ask?
Yes.
Oh,
You're on board.
Yeah, sure.
hey,
This was asking something about commission, the commission's mission would be quality. I also. So we're close. So my concern is that we don't have.
Excuse me. Please.
Again, please, if you're talking, you can leave the room. We're still trying to go on with our meeting.
Wait, no, just dance.
Okay? We're gonna close the door. This. They can't answer that
You
question.
got all kinds of shit. I know that, it was just such a question. Don't be
Yeah,
smart.
no, that's fine.
Smack the shit out of you.
Make sure.
Just want to make sure.
Actually, thanks, Carl, 'cause I didn't know.
Close that.
I told you, like, this, right?
Did you
Can they close that for it?
Yeah, I just closed them out.
No, I understood that, sir.
Yeah.
No disrespect to you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm sorry. Can you please continue?
All right, so my question is about water quality and concerning the aquifer that lies actually pretty shallow underneath the basin of the watershed. Flows through, and it also
It's just
extends.
the aquifers in general, not necessarily.
No, there's an aquifer, there's actually an aquifer.
You're saying aquifers in general, not just necessarily specific to this, because we're not talking about that.
Okay, well, I
Correct.
live there, my well is tapped. That.
You're not. Okay.
And it's also mapped that there's not for along the parking on public space.
Okay.
So the concern is that with the us people that don't have public, as to what happens. Well, we might have one-off cars, after the 460 some cars you're talking about. They're talking about.
They can't take input regarding this project.
Right.
Look at your opportunity.
But my concern is water pollution.
In
right?
general.
Because as
In general.
in general, we have tidal in our water. With our VOC.
What I guess what I'm trying to ask is, because we're not taking public comment on this project is on the agenda. You had a question in
All
general.
right, so then, when it comes to water quality or water pollution of the aquifer, what do we talk? So that goes to the zoning. Who at the state will talk in the
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But the health
And
department,
is there
we don't have
direction
any oversight
surrounding towns also?
because that's not part of the
Potentially
operation.
impact is part of this area, perhaps. Middlebury is.
All zoning, that's the zoning.
Yeah, that I don't.
So go ahead and put a number 9:30 for the round.
Where's my wife?
Yeah. Thank you. Is there any other members of the public that has any questions, like comments that's not on the agenda? One more time. Is there any member of the public who would like to ask a question or comment on something that is not on tonight's agenda?
Sir, you would do it right from here.
And if you could please state your name and address, please.
My name is Don Anderson. I live on 1161 Rubber Avenue Extension. Okay, this project goes around me, both sides of me. Okay,
So you're commenting on this project?
well, in a way,
What are you, okay, so
Yeah.
you can generalize,
Yeah.
correct?
a long time ago, Bernie Avicali, and then we're gonna do the same project across the road from where this project is. Okay, it was turned down, but they did it anyway. But it was, the thing of it is, it's restricted for more multi-family housing. All the Anderson property, which that's what it's all about, it's all already bought. They really can't do this project legally.
Because.
I don't know what to tell you. I gave zoning people at the time pictures of the water down and back where it went through the property. It was like flooded. And I gave them a copy of the deed restriction. And they said they'd take care of it. Somewhere along the line, they got it on fire.
Okay,
That's all I want to say.
all right, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
We don't deal with deed restrictions.
Laura, I'll talk to you about that. So, we'll take care of that issue.
That should be brought up in a title survey.
Yeah, we'll
It
have
should be.
I'll have the applicant's clients.
Unfortunately, that wouldn't be. how we-
It's not a wetland
Wetlands
issue.
Right.
It's something that
Something that.
we should.
It's good for the. Is there anybody else here that would like to speak about anything on the agenda, or turn it over to the Zoom people? No? Anybody on Zoom, if you'd like to speak on anything that's not on the agenda, could you please, I guess, raise your hand so that, Tiffany Healy?
Oh, that was Ed. What was Ed's little?
I don't see anybody.
John Spot,
Oh, I got one now.
okay?
I'll ask Tiffany Healy to unmute. State your name and address.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Healy and I'm on 290 Stone Fence Road.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hi. My question is, when will the public be able to speak on this project?
When there's a public hearing,
Okay, and how would we find that out?
you can contact land use. It's also on the Naugatuck's website.
Okay,
Meeting is. as
okay,
well
thank you.
as
And Tracy, are there abutters that will get notified specifically for wetlands?
They did already.
They did.
Yeah, they got notified about the meeting, and they have to follow along.
How did the abutters get? They didn't get, usually don't get it until there's an application. I mean, there's a public hearing. So, right. So usually if there's a public hearing, you would notify abutters of a public hearing. Is that a requirement of wetlands?
Oh, the requirement is the application. They received notice, the butters are listed on the application. Did they get any notice? Okay, well, they will for the public hearing.
That's what I mean. It would be at that point. Just like with zoning, when the application comes in, we don't
Your notice.
notified until a public hearing is set. They don't know of a public hearing, so we couldn't set one.
Well, it won't be next month though.
No, it can't be.
When people think they can speak next month.
Right.
There won't be a public hearing next month.
More than happy to come and listen, to attend, to log in on Zoom and to hear what has to be said, and that's, that's great. The more information you get, the better. May answer questions that you have, generate more questions.
Well, that's what I wanted to kind of say was that, our meetings are always held the first Wednesday of the month. So if anybody wants to put it on their calendars, we're not sure when the public hearing will begin, but it will be on a Wednesday, first of the month. Not October, the earliest it would be is November. So,
Right.
but we'll be getting information in next month, so if you're interested, I suggest you log in online or come in person to the meeting at a location.
Okay, thank you. In regards to that, abutters, will we be notified of that public hearing? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear if that was a yes or no.
If you're in a butter, you will.
If you're in a butter to the property, then, and we continue that it's a significant area, a significant activity in the public hearing. Done.
Okay,
then
thank
that
you.
Send something up to. It'll probably be certified mail, right?
It's certified mail
Certified, so just look for that.
and it's a certain distance. It's not,
Correct.
so it depends upon, it's 200 feet.
Is it?
I'm not sure, but I know in zoning, it's 200 feet. It's 500 feet for a zone change.
Thank you.
So it depends where your property is of whether or not you get a notice.
But look, but you're more than welcome to attend whether you get a notice or not. So just to let you know, please
Thank
do.
you for that information. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Any other public comments?
Melissa Leonard, you can go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Melissa Leonard, 450 Guntown Road. So if there isn't a public hearing, the only way for the public to comment is by sending letters to land use. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, there may not be a public hearing. There may or may not be a public hearing with wetlands. It all depends on what information is presented to us and, whatnot. But, there's other opportunities, I guess you could say, if it passes wetlands and it goes to zoning, that there will be short opportunities for that. But, probably the best way would be to filter them through land use because they're holding the files and all the information in there.
So any email that I've received so far, I have in a file. So if a public hearing is set, we would read all of these into the record.
So I just wanted to clarify what Melissa Leonard was asking. So if this did not go into a public hearing, then the public, we would never hear what the public has to say about it. Okay.
So the commission can do two things. You have the opportunity to act with this thing, staff.
Sorry, Ned, I can't hear you.
The commission can make a decision that there's to place the matter at a public hearing if it determines from one up to whether the activity constitutes a substantial activity in accordance with the Connecticut General Statutes and the Arctic Inland Wetlands Regulation, or it constitutes a matter of significant and substantial public interest. So the commission has that authority in law to set a public hearing on that basis as well. So that I assume that the next meeting, the commission may address the issue of whether or not it needs it is a substantial activity or whether or not the proposal is generating significant public interest toward a public hearing. That's what's allowed in the statute. And so I assume that next month, while it be a public hearing, it will be a meeting that, as Commissioner Hugs indicated, that the public hearing, if there is one, is likely to be November.
The earliest.
What is the timeline that the commission has to react to this application? Do they have 65 days from the receipt of the application?
The application was filed for this meeting, correct?
Well, no, it's usually the date of the meeting.
But I mean that, so it's this meeting.
Yes,
and
there
there's
starts the
35
timeline.
days to set a public hearing, so the next meeting is within that time frame, right?
Correct.
Today, so they have to determine by the next meeting
Right.
whether or not there will be a public hearing. And then that has to be set by them.
So they have 35 days
65 days close, right?
to,
It's 100 days total.
so that they have
Unless-
35 days after they set a public hearing to open it.
No, 35 days after they receive the application to set a public hearing.
To open it.
Yes, just open a public hearing, yes.
Yeah, so next month you set it, that's within 35 days, and if you set it, month.
Do you have 35 days to open the public hearing or
No.
35 days to set? You just said open.
Well, so scheduled.
Schedule, okay. I just don't want a time frame issue to come up.
No, but there's no automatic rules.
Okay,
anyways.
not like in other
Under the statute, no, it's
Okay.
not like zoning and planning, there's no automatic rules, get timeframes for contract.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Be cognizant of those timeframes, because they need extensions
Yes,
from the applicant. As you know, we've done that in the past, so we should keep a time record of the, I'm sure. Okay.
Can I ask a follow-up question? So let's say, as an application isn't a significant activity, but people want to comment on it. How does that happen? You're saying if you live next door to a project and you want to say something about it and the impact that you think it will have on wetlands, there's no way to do that. Is that
No.
what you're saying?
There's a significant activity for the
She's saying
public.
if it's deemed not a significant activity, then the whole public comment, I will someone comment on that.
We could also decide based on,
Public,
I think there was a lot of public here, so,
that's
that's a good indication.
Well,
That's when we would.
the public can also take out a petition.
I was gonna say there's also another route that.
Right, that's the third round.
Yeah, so the public, and I forget how many people, 25?
20%,
No, I didn't believe it's 25.
25 people or a certain percentage.
Yeah,
So-
if the commission didn't determine it was,
Significant.
warranted hearing.
Right.
But
So they could send concerns to Lori, Wetlands Enforcement Officer, but they may never get heard.
But you can also, let me just say, you can feel free to contact commissioners via email and send a letter, right?
Okay. Couple things. Melissa, directly to your question, section 9 provides, of our regulations on page 21, provides that a public hearing may be held if there's a significant impact on the wetlands or water courses as deemed by the commission, or a petition signed by 25 people is filed with the commission. Filed not later than 14 days after the receipt of the application. So that would be that receipt of the applications need to be this meeting.
Today.
So it should be 14 days from now. Or if the applicant or if the agency finds that a public hearing regarding the application would be in the public interest, my earlier point on that. And so those are the bases on which a public hearing will or could be by the commission. So I hope that it addresses your primary question.
Sort
I
of.
think-
Okay. So unless there's a public hearing, you can't discuss. I don't know. I find it difficult to not be allowed to speak at something that's on an agenda. It's just.
All right, let me give you an example. On the zoning side, if there's a site plan application, there is not a requirement that there be a public hearing. Now, that doesn't mean the commission may not schedule one. But that's an example where site plan is as a matter of right. So if you comply with the 55 requirements of the site plan regulations, you comply. The chair of that the zoning commission has the opportunity to allow public comment, and usually does, right? Usually does, but it's not required. So it's not just inland wetlands. It's
Right.
the land use process, and the same for planning, by the way.
Right.
Except for a subdivision, which there is a requirement of a public hearing and also a re-subdivision. But let's say someone is dividing one lot into two lots. There's not a requirement of a public hearing, so the public would not get the comment. So that is a trait that's endemic to a lot of the land use process.
And we follow procedures, not just to protect the commission, to protect the public, and to protect the applicant. If we do something that can be deemed as an illegal action and we deny something, the applicant can appeal that based upon our denial by saying, hey, the rules weren't followed.
Right.
So that's why we have to be important to make sure that we're following all legal rules in regard to when the public can speak and when their time is not to speak. So we don't want to jeopardize, because someone can deny or someone can appeal us denying an action for just because, and it's happened because we
absolutely,
didn't
just
follow
for
the
not
rules.
following procedure. Yeah, I get that.
Right.
I guess
No different than what you
my
see on
problem is with the
court case.
procedure, not with you guys, obviously. Yeah, it's just it's difficult to.
We encourage you not to send your questions and comments to land use, because that's part of our correspondence to us. So it's not like they never get heard, they do. It's part of our correspondence, which is part of our agenda. So we get the information. Does that help?
Yes, absolutely. So then, I mean, that gets distributed to all of you and you get to read the questions and concerns. So that is a way to get your concerns at least in front of the commission.
Okay, and listen, one last point, and I hope the rest of Zoom world is listening to this. One last point is that since this is now a public meeting and a public proceeding, an application on which this commission has to act, it would not be appropriate to contact commissioners directly, any member of all of your contact should be through staff. The reason for that is that protects the integrity of the decision-making process. The commissioners should be contacted individually. That has happened in the past, and it has been the cause for some significant legal issues associated with the decisions that not this commission, but others have made. So let's keep the process as sacrosanct as we can, and any comments from the public should be directed to staff, who is Lori or Ed, or Jim Stewart, if there's engineering or calculation questions, site-related questions that staff can't answer. Jim Stewart is also part of our staff.
We do prefer Jim.
So,
Thank you. Thank
If
you.
we're not asking Jim, by the way, we're just saying.
We're
that
delegating.
he's got it, right? So I just wanted to make that point. So you're also free, by the way, since you know you've spoken to me many times. You can also contact me. I also view as staff.
Thank you.
Are there any other members of the public that will have a comment or a question that's not on the agenda, that was a general question? We would have to take that. All right. Thank you very much for your participation and listening. I hope it helped you guys. I know we always appreciate the comments. It may not seem like it sometimes, but we really do. I mean, you're a resident just like we are. So, you know, it helps. I don't live there, so I need to hear from you. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you at the next one, either in person or on Zoom. So just look for you contact on the site. Okay. Two little things. Okay, so we're going to go into
Michelle.
we need to review the minutes from the last two meetings. The July 12th meeting. Louise was here?
No.
You were?
I wasn't here.
For July?
Well, I was here.
You were here for July, so we had.
I wasn't here.
You weren't.
So we have.
But I was with form, so Marcia, me, and Louise. So. On the, is there any? Okay, is there a motion? Is there any questions on the July 12th meeting? I didn't have it. Louise, did you have any questions?
No.
on it? So I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of July 12th, in what edition? As written. I need a first. I'll make the motion. Thank you. Is there a second, Louise?
Second.
All in favor?
There's an abstain.
Okay, abstain. Thank you. And so let me look at that August one. So that was me.
And
Marcia was absent, and Wendy. All right, so we have to continue to August till next one. Now, I've been waiting for, is there a motion to adjourn? Anyone?
Me.
Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion is adjourned 7:39. Thank you.